Hi, this is Shashi and this is the Silverfox Hustle podcast. And we are into phase two. Since the circuit breaker was lifted, we are easing into phase two. And my advice is always like before, don't go crazy because we all know what happened in the weekend. So just relax because phase one is going to be, or phase two will be around for quite some time. So just relax, don't go crazy, stay safe if possible, wear that mask. And in the studios today is Singapore's tennis prodigy. He is Singapore's number one tennis player. He started playing tennis at the age of 5. Yes, 5. He won a total of 10 national men's titles across different events. He has made 6 men's Davis Cup appearances, the fourth most of any Singaporean. Now, he has also represented Singapore in 3 SEA Games. Singapore's number one ranked tennis player is also Sports Singapore ambassador. He's also the co-founder of a startup called Sports Menu. We'll talk about that later on. And tell you what, he's also a charitable young man. He founded Project Love All, and also we will go through that with him later on. Welcome to the Silverfox Hustle podcast, Shaheed Alam.
Hey man, this is Shashi. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good, and how about you? How's
I'm
things?
very well. Thanks for having me.
I got to ask this question, right? You're a tennis player, number one ranked. How has the circuit breaker been? It must have been tough, especially for professional players, sports people who have been so used to training almost every day, right? How has that been for you?
Yeah, I think it affected every sports athlete in Singapore.
Yeah.
To a huge extent because it's like kind of taking away our escape. Like doing sports is like our
Right.
our happy place and
Yes.
stuff like that. And then being cooked up at home the whole time is not fun lah. But I mean, we're trying to look at the positives and spend time with our family and stuff because with trainings and competitions we barely have enough time with the family.
Do you have to train on your own like a lot because you are the national player, right? A national tennis player. So do you have like been pressurized to actually train on your own and then when the circuit breaker is lifted, then you can get into training and get into competitions right away, or you just like just taking it easy at the moment?
No, I think we were training still on our fitness and stuff like that, and definitely off court stuff, which there's like plenty of exercises to do and stuff. So like I was going for jogs and doing core and stuff like that, things you can do at home to just like keep in shape, keep the fitness up, because you never know when the tennis circuit is gonna open up again, and you don't want like an extra 2 weeks to try and get prepared. You want to get going from straight away, so like not waste any time.
True. Let's start when you were 5 years old.
Yeah.
Is that right, or am I just reading or am I just dreaming, or just taking this from somewhere? Because you started at the age of 5.
Actually 4.5.
Oh, okay. Then it gets better and better.
I just rounded up just to make it easier.
Can you actually remember what happened? Because I can't remember what happened when I was 20 years old, let alone 5, right? So, do you ever remember what happened, or you heard stories?
Absolutely. I remember pretty vividly, actually.
Wow.
So, I was playing like a bunch of other sports before tennis. So, like every guy would play football.
Right.
Just start kicking the ball.
Do you play?
When I was younger.
Okay.
Yeah. But then now I stopped because like it's kind of scary to get injured from football.
Right.
But yeah, so I started with football, badminton, all sorts of funky stuff.
Yeah.
And then, so my dad plays tennis like leisurely with his friends and stuff. And below our block, there's a badminton court.
Right.
So we started out from there. So
This was age 5.
4.5, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
So so my dad bought a net. And then we put the net at the height of a tennis net instead of a badminton net.
Yeah.
So we tied it down and we just started playing from then on, like almost every day.
And were you obviously we know it's hand-eye coordination for tennis, and it's more difficult than badminton because there's an element of that the ball is different altogether, right? So did you already have that element of hand-eye coordination bit, that skill? Did you already have that at that age?
I think I probably had. That's why my dad kind of like pushed me to play tennis and stuff.
Right.
And also we did a lot of like fun hand-eye coordination exercises at home. Like playing with the balloon, for example, which is perfect training for hand-eye coordination.
Right.
And I like super highly encourage any young kid out there to just
Okay,
start
how do you
playing.
do that? How do you do that?
So you just blow out a balloon.
Yeah.
And then so what my dad and I used to do is like we have like chairs.
Okay.
So the dining
Okay.
table chairs. So we put it in between us
Yes.
and act as a net.
Okay.
And then we just
Right.
play the balloon across each other,
right,
and that is like
Yes.
I think it has a huge impact, you know, like
Right.
um,
It's so simple, but
so simple,
it works.
super effective.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's just like football where you are alone at home. You don't have anything. You just get a ball and just kick against the wall.
Yeah.
Right? That kind of things. Wow, nice, very nice. Your dad is Mr. Alam.
Yes.
Right? And he obviously kick-started this. Was he already a coach then, or?
No. So he was just playing leisurely. He's
Okay.
a coach now.
Okay.
He enjoys
So
coaching kids and stuff.
Yeah. So your dad kick-started this.
Absolutely.
All right, and he obviously saw something at 4.5. I get
Yes.
this right this time. At 4.5. Tell me about your relationship with him.
It's a fantastic relationship, you know, because he supported me every step of the way
Yeah.
throughout my whole tennis career. He was my first coach, and he's technically still my coach actually now, because you know
Okay.
I still look up to him so
Right.
much, and he supported me in every possible way,
Right.
in every decision that I had to make. He
Yeah.
supported me 100%,
Right.
as well as my family as well. You know, like my mom and my two sisters are absolutely vital contributions to my tennis career.
True. We've heard like stories. For example, Tiger Woods, like how he started off at a very young age. I don't know what age. I read the book, but I can't remember. I don't know whether it was 4.5. But it was obviously the dad that pushed him on. And then I read about Andre Agassi. I'm sure you know Andre Agassi. His dad pushed him on, right, from that early age. And we've also heard horror stories, right? Like it's you got to let the kid love and enjoy what he do and what he does. Was it like that? Did you already love the sport so much that you just love the push from your dad or from your family, or was he pushing you a little bit too hard, or was there any point in time that you thought that he was pushing you too hard?
No, I don't think so. He always like reminded me to it's up to me to decide what
Right.
sport I want to play and stuff. And
Right.
the most important thing, like he always emphasizes it, is like to enjoy what I'm doing,
Great.
which is playing tennis. After
Right.
I found out 5-6 years old, which
Yeah.
out of all the sports, I think tennis was the one that
Good.
really made me love the sport. So he always told me to just enjoy it. He never pushed me, never forced me to go for trainings and stuff. He said like if you want to do well, you have to have it in you. So
Yeah.
you can't like fake that.
Yeah.
So that's very good advice, especially to all those young guys out there also who wants to make it in sports. You just have to have it within you, and nobody can force you.
You actually very right. I like what you said about it has to come from within.
Yeah.
Anyone can push you.
Yeah.
Right? Anyone can push you. But at the end of the day, if you like something and you want to go for it, especially in sports, you got to go all in.
All in.
It's all in, or you just
All out.
get the hell out.
Yeah.
You know,
Go big
because
or go
it's,
home.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's no point.
Yeah.
Going in halfway, and it's bad. So that's a good point. Now you talk about family support just now. You have two sisters as well, and mom and dad. How have they supported you? Just examples of how
Yeah.
they've supported you.
I think like during the start of my career where I didn't really have a lot of support, they financially
Yeah.
they helped me tremendously
Right.
to send me for competitions and
Okay.
stuff like that, which was fantastic, and I couldn't ask for anything more. And it's just the small things like whenever like say if I have a bad loss,
Yeah.
they'll always be there to support me
Okay.
and say just keep your head up, go for the next one, and they never like really like push me to say that, hey, you shouldn't be doing this or you shouldn't
Right.
be doing that, and it's I think it's really important to have really good family support.
They're probably all in as well.
All in as
together
well,
with yourself, right? And this is a question going back to your age. You started at 4.5. Now you are
21 turning 22. Yeah.
22. We talk about someone starting so young. Now there is also a chance of burnout,
Yeah.
right? And obviously there's the part about the ambition part, because if you want to be great, you got to do it over and over and over again every single day, 7 days a week. Uh, Tell me your thoughts about this. You know, the burnout part. Do you think that you can burn out at an early age because you started that young, or you think that no, you still gotta push. You gotta keep on going.
Yeah, I think that's a great point because you see a lot of athletes, across different sports. They just like start to get really tired of the sport
Right.
at around 17,
Yes.
18 years old.
Yes.
That's like most of the highest percentage, of people who starts to retire and to stop sports. But I think it's a very important part is the start. So
Okay.
if you enjoy what you're doing from the start and you know that this is this
Yeah.
is what you're gonna do, that's why it's like really important to ensure that you really enjoy it. Because if your parents are forcing you or your family is forcing you to do it, for sure by the end of like 10 years,
Yeah.
when you're 15, 16 years old, and when you can think of your like on your own and stuff, you think like maybe this is not really for me and stuff.
Right.
But then if you really enjoy it and you really want to do it from inside of you, I think burnout it doesn't really exist.
The I asked you that question was also because I spoke about Andre Agassi before with his dad and all, and I read the book. Have you read Andre Agassi's book?
No.
Okay, go read
Not
that
a
book.
fan of books.
Uh,
Actually.
Okay, thanks. No, okay. I read his book, right, Andre Agassi, and he actually said he didn't like playing.
Right.
He didn't enjoy playing. There was this part in the chapter where he said that and after winning tournaments, it's not like he just started out. After winning all those tournaments, he came out in a book and said that actually I don't like the game of tennis, because obviously he started very young, but I think he got pushed, as in by his dad and.
Right.
And whatever. So that was the reason why I asked you that question, and I can safely say that you're not gonna have the same sentiments, because I think you love the sport first before having that ambition to get into it. Tell me about your school days at St. Andrews. How was it like?
Yeah, it's actually really fun.
Right.
So I got to St. Andrews through DSA
Right,
after my primary school.
Yes.
And so I was there for about 3 years.
Okay.
So in secondary 3, I made like a huge decision to take a gap year
Okay.
to play tennis, because I joined like that at that time. There was this program called a full-time tennis program by STA
So you went the first 3 years at St. Andrews. You took a 1 year off or
at Sec 3. Yeah. So
to play tennis.
yeah, so I joined this. I went for the trials.
Okay.
I
Right.
got accepted into this program
Okay.
called the full-time tennis program, which is like a really serious kind of setup by the National Association. It's about maybe training about like 6 hours a day sort of thing. So it's like pretty legit.
Right.
And then so at that time, everybody who was already in the program, because they were taking like batch 2.
Okay.
So in batch 1, the trials happened. I was super injured.
Okay.
Because I was training really hard, and I think like
Okay.
probably pushed too hard and had
Right.
a really bad
Right.
back injury.
Yeah.
So in batch 2 of the trials, in the end I got accepted.
Right.
So that was when I was 15 years old,
Okay.
secondary 3, and then so there were like maybe 6-7 other guys who were already in the program, and they had a decision to do either online school or go to the sports school. So everybody decided to go to the sports school, and then when I just joined the program. So I was like kind of behind all of those
Right.
guys, right? Because
Okay.
they were already in the program and stuff. I was training once a day. They were training already twice a day,
Okay.
which is 2 times more than me.
Right.
Which
But
is not
that,
cool.
But that wasn't at sports school. That was
That was before.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah. Right.
before.
Okay.
Yeah. So so secondary 3, I got into the program, and then so we as a family, my dad also kind of suggested just maybe we take this year off before going to sports school.
Okay.
Because I was already planning to go to sports school. Those new guys who joined the program together with me, straight away joined sports school.
Okay.
And then so we decided to take a gap year.
Okay.
And actually St. Andrews was really kind as well. Like they saved me a spot. So if anything happened or anything, I can always go back to
Okay.
St. Andrews.
Okay.
So but in the end, in 2014, I joined Singapore Sports School, which
Right.
was a really cool experience also.
How big was that group? Those group of tennis players that went into the sports school?
Sports school, there were about maybe 5-6 guys and about
Right.
3-4 girls. Yeah.
It's a good small number
Yeah,
where
it's-
you can really concentrate on the
So
game.
we're all in the same program
Right.
in sports school, because sports school they don't have tennis as like an academy.
Okay.
So we were there, like it's considered like individual programs. So we were just there for the education, and then so that was one. That's another story for I think, because we were traveling up and down from Kallang Tennis Centre.
Ah,
to
okay. So you
Woodlands.
don't train there.
No, we don't.
So
yeah.
you were there just for the studies,
Just
and
for
then you went up
studies.
to, and you had to train in the morning and.
Yeah. So actually, when we were in sports school, they were actually really nice also, because they made a program called School Within a School,
Okay.
which is
Just for you guys.
not yet actually, because
Right.
they did a program just for us in the
Okay.
end. So this was like a special program for those kind of high performing athletes. So they allowed the tennis guys to join the program, which is
Okay.
night school. So we study from 5 p.m. to 9:30 p.m.
Okay.
So we train in the morning, like 7 to 10
yeah.
a.m. We have a bit of a break, and then have lunch, and then we train again at 2 to 4 p.m. And then we go to class at 5 p.m.
At sports school, right?
At sports
so
school.
everything before that you have to do it at Kallang.
At Kallang, yeah.
But you had to stay in at Singapore.
No, we didn't.
Oh, you don't have to
Yeah.
stay in.
Yeah,
Ah,
because
okay.
because we were part of the individual program,
Right.
so the training wasn't there and stuff. So we could go back.
How was it like studying at night? Because you
Yeah.
train like in the morning and in the afternoon or evening, and then you study at 5:30 to 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
How was that?
Wow, it was actually crazy at the start, because you're so tired at the end of the day. Like
Right.
5 p.m. you're
Yes,
already
yes,
knocked out. You
of
know?
course.
But then like it helps that the class size were about maybe 6-7 people a
Okay.
class, so it was like really small, and like it was more of like a tuition session
But
instead of a class.
it could also mean that if you don't turn up, you're well spotted.
Yeah.
You stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, or you fall asleep or something.
yes.
Yeah, but then you kind of get used to it after a while.
So that went on for how long? 1 year or 2 years?
No, so that was about 1 year,
Yeah.
and then when we were in Sec 4, we were saying that it's too tough for us and stuff, so sports school actually made a special arrangement for the tennis guys.
You guys are the prima donnas.
Yeah, that's right. We didn't even have a program there. They all making all special programs for us. So we did like a school program from 12 to 4 p.m. because that was like the hottest part of the day.
Okay.
And training every day at that time is
Okay.
not so good also lah.
Right.
So we train in the morning at Kallang.
Okay.
8 to 7 to 10,
Right.
and then we go to class 12 to 4.
Okay.
And then we either go to gym in sports school, or we go back to Kallang at like 5 p.m.
Right.
to 7 p.m. to train
Okay.
again.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the good thing is you can go back home, right? Because most of them are at the boarding school. They
correct.
live there and stuff like that. So that was a good experience, wasn't it?
It's fantastic experience.
It's like
actually.
just like a professional player.
Yeah.
Oh, the only part was
the traveling, like I guess the traveling was the.
and obviously you
was
had to
the
study then.
Yeah.
Knowing you after knowing you for quite some like a few minutes, I know you don't read as well, so that has to be a tough one for you. The sports school in terms of professional development, how was that? Okay, because we talk about the national team training and what have you. Sports school in terms of the professional development, in terms of playing, right? So when you go out to the Kallang Tennis Centre, you train with the national coaches or?
Yeah, it was a
Right.
coach by the National Tennis
Okay,
Association. So
okay.
it's nothing. The training and everything has nothing got to do with sports school.
Okay.
Probably only the gym
Right.
sessions.
So
for sports school.
it worked out pretty well, you know.
Yeah, it did.
I think it was a superb deal for you guys.
Yeah,
You know,
it definitely was. Yeah.
wow, it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Living that life, and I'm sure in a weird kind of way you would love to go back
Yeah.
to those days at Singapore Sports School. How about RP? So after that you graduated and then you went
Yeah.
to RP right from there.
Actually, I didn't go to RP because the classes were still in sports school.
What school? What classes were at sports school?
The RP classes were in sports school. So basically,
I'm just shaking my head right now. If for those of you who are not who are listening in, I'm just shaking my head here. Okay, what's
so
happening?
basically, we didn't take O levels.
Okay,
So it was a true train program from sports school to RP.
okay,
So getting a diploma in sports and leisure management.
right.
So there's a group of us, maybe like 20 people.
So you didn't have to take your O levels.
I didn't.
You
Yeah.
got in straight.
Straight
The
to
group, that
RP.
group, 7 of them.
No, not so. At Sec 4, you can have a few decisions to make in sports school to
Okay.
go like IB program, or
Okay.
you can just take the normal O levels route,
Yeah.
or you could do
Yeah.
this program that I took, which is just true train to RP.
So,
there
so
were-
you were one of the smarter ones to choose this program.
Yeah, I mean because it's something I want to do also,
Yes,
as
yes,
well,
yes,
sports
right.
and leisure management
Okay.
in the future. So there were some people in like the normal like day school
Right.
program who chose this decision also.
Yeah.
So we kind of combined the night school people and the day school people.
Right.
Combined, and then there's about like 20 of us,
Yeah.
which forms the RP class in sports
Ah.
school. So the RP lecturers come down to sports school in a totally different um, class schedule compared to the RP kids in RP.
So what time was this?
So-
The classes.
Yeah, so at the start, in the first like 1.5 years, it was 12 to 2 p.m. and then 7:30 to 9:30 p.m.
Wow. Okay.
So basically we train, study, train, study.
Yeah.
And then after 1.5 years, we get a bit of feedback and stuff. Not really working out, it's quite tiring. We ended up doing 12 to 4. So I think 12 to 4 is the prime time to study.
Okay.
So
So you train in the morning and then
Train in the morning, just study the
and
whole
then-
block, 12 to 4. It's just like 4 hours a
Wow,
day.
it's one of the best deals ever for a student, man. Wow.
And then, so the best part is actually we were just doing like 1 to 2 modules at each time
Okay.
instead of 5 modules,
But how long do you take to clear then the RP modules?
So
Everything.
actually
3
like
years?
the entire program is
Same.
exactly the same time, as the RP classes, like in RP
Okay.
basically, yeah.
And these 20 or odd guys are also all
Sports
tennis.
athletes.
Tennis
no,
or
different sports,
okay.
yeah. Bunch of different sports.
anyone who's playing right now professionally in any sport? Do you know?
Yeah,
Is that-
there's a lot of national athletes who's representing
whom?
Singapore. So there's like a shooter,
Right.
Muhammad Irwan,
Okay.
who represented Singapore in SEA Games.
Okay.
There's this guy Arash who recently won a SEA Games gold medal
Right.
actually in Philippines.
Okay.
So they're all like classmates of mine. Yeah.
Well, I guess those days weren't put to waste then, right?
Yes, definitely.
I think that at the end of the day, that
Yeah.
the objective
And
has
you
to...
also make your like best friends, over there,
Right,
because you're
of
seeing
course.
them every day.
True.
You share the same motive. You share the
Yeah.
same goals. To do
Right.
well in your sport, represent Singapore,
Yeah.
and you're probably like friends for life. This
I
kind
gotta
of
say,
people.
Shahid, that was the best deal ever, man. I think if I have to go back, I'll do that. I'm sure. Right. Any plans to push on for a degree soon? You can't do that at the
As-
Singapore Sports School, though.
As of now, I'm still waiting for my NS and stuff.
Yeah,
So like haven't really made a
Okay.
decision as of
Okay.
yet. Yeah.
What was your first tournament that you ever played in?
Yeah.
Let's
So
talk
actually,
tennis, yeah?
So
Yeah.
actually, I remember that vividly as well. So it was this. So I started at 4.5. My first tournament was when I was 6 years old, playing the under 10s. In like the national age groups, so there were tournaments for every school holidays. So March.
So
June.
how do you
Sep-
how do you enter a tournament when you are like 6
6,
years old? Like
yeah.
how do you
Uh,
register independently, right?
My dad lah. My dad
Yeah, so it's an independent kind of thing.
Yeah, basically you just sign up independently. It's basically just a national age group. So if you're below 10,
Yeah.
so there was under 10, 12, 14, 16.
So you
18.
were 6 playing in the under 10s.
Exactly, yeah. So I think I was one of the youngest, and then my first match I remember it super well. I
Okay.
lost 9-0 straight
Right,
away.
right,
I
okay.
think the guy was like maybe 8, 9 years old.
Okay.
No chance.
Right.
But then I remember the parents saying that I would be a good tennis player in the end. So I think.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, playing your first tournament at 6. But I guess you can do that as well because it's an individual sport,
Yeah.
right? I think you can afford to do that. Now, just fast forward a little bit. In 2014,
Yeah.
you played your first ever Davis Cup
Yeah.
Match in Iran. What was that like?
Well, that's one of the best experiences
Yeah.
actually. Because
How old were you then?
So I was 15 actually.
15, yeah.
Turning 16.
Okay.
So yeah, I was definitely one of the youngest in that
Okay.
competition as well, because everybody else were like from different countries. They were
Okay.
like maybe 25, 26 years old.
You were at St. Andrews.
At that time I was already in sports school.
Already in
Yeah.
sports school. Okay.
So yeah, it was a fantastic experience. Like playing Davis Cup
Yes.
for Singapore for a tennis player. I think is one of the biggest
Right.
achievements. Because you get to represent your country at an international stage, which is fantastic. And yeah, like I remember like walking onto the court during the opening ceremony kind of thing.
This is a team kind of
Team competition, that's right, yeah.
For those of you listening in who not really so sure about tennis itself, Davis Cup, you play as a team, you represent your country, And any one of those players that you played with as teammates, all of them were from that particular sports school group, or
No, not one of it who was older than me by a
Okay.
year. He graduated already,
right?
so he was from sports school. But the following years, yes.
So what was the experience like just walking onto court?
Oh,
and-
it's really cool, man. Especially in Iran. It's actually such a nice country, Iran.
Yeah, I've heard- I've-
it's
yeah, I've heard,
fantastic
yeah.
country.
Yes,
Like
yes.
whoever who's like haven't been to Iran and just listening in the news is totally false, man. That
Yep.
country is
Yep. Nice.
is really nice.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was really cool. Like wearing the Singapore flag on your chest and playing tennis, doing something you love. I think nothing really beats that, lah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, it's funny you speak about Iran, the country itself, right? It's a wonderful
Fantastic
because
country.
I've played in Singapore football, and I've had teammates from Iran as well. They've one of the
Nicest people
most,
as well.
the nicest people.
Yeah.
So it's a good point that you pointed out there. 2015, would you say that was your breakout year in terms of really kickstarting everything, because you were part of the Davis Cup team again that emerged champion of Group 4.
Yeah.
Okay, if you can remember, in that Asia and Oceania group in Bahrain, you participated in your first SEA Games.
Yeah.
Was that in Singapore? It was in
That was in
Singapore, wasn't it?
Singapore.
At the age of 16, you won your first men's national singles and doubles title at the age of 16 as well. And that was the national singles as well. Yeah. So at 16, you won the ITF Junior Boy singles title in Singapore, first ever Singaporean boy to do so as well. So that
Yeah.
2015 must be one of the best years ever.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah?
I think it's still definitely one of the
Yeah.
best years ever. Like, the
You were
experience-
16,
I was
Yeah.
in 17. Yeah,
going on 17. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one of the best years. The experiences I had, the victories that I had was definitely one to remember.
Especially the men's national singles, right?
Yeah.
It's it's an open category.
Open category, yeah.
So who did you play in the final? Do you remember?
Uh,
And how many rounds did you have to play?
so I think it was I don't remember exactly, but I think it was like a draw of 128
Okay.
people. So I think it's about 7 matches.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So I think in that tournament I won the singles and doubles. So that was
Yes.
pretty cool.
Yes, yes.
To win, like, first time for both.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I think I played a Filipino like coach
Okay.
kind of guy
Okay.
in the finals,
Right.
who was like the top seed, and he's
And how
won,
old?
like,
Much older.
much
I'm
older.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's at least like maybe 30 something.
Okay.
Yeah, so he won like a bunch of titles in Singapore
Right.
already because he's been here for a while.
Okay.
And yeah, I think I beat him in the finals,
Nice.
which was a really good win.
How
And
about
that
the-
was at the start of the year to kickstart the whole
Oh,
thing.
okay, okay. So that was it's good as well, right? When you kickstart
Yeah,
the year
yeah,
like
exactly.
that, and it's like a new year,
Yeah.
and you're pushing on. How about the doubles? Who did you play with?
So I played with one of my sports schoolmate,
Okay.
who was in the same program as well,
Right.
Sherwin Fu.
Okay,
Yeah, so
okay.
yeah, we partnered quite a lot in that year.
Okay.
Yeah, for
Okay.
overseas competitions as well.
I'm curious, right? In doubles, as well as mixed doubles or whatever,
Yeah.
do you pick your own partner, or you? How
Yeah,
does this work?
Actually, we just pick our own partners.
Okay,
So
okay.
sometimes even in overseas competitions, like compared to like badminton, for example, where it's kind of like you have to partner a person from your country and stuff.
Okay.
For tennis, it's like you're
Right,
free to
right.
choose.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
partner whoever.
Okay.
Usually, it's your best friend lah.
Exactly.
If you're in overseas
Your partner in
competitions,
crime.
yeah.
Yeah, right. So that was 2015, and it was good. Now, let's talk about your career rankings, right? 260
Yeah.
in the ITF juniors.
Yeah.
Right. Can you just go through with us how does these rankings work?
Yeah.
Even with the ATP or whatever, how does this work? Like,
So the ITF junior rankings is exactly the same as how the
Okay.
ATP,
Right.
like your Federers and Nadals and stuff. So
Okay.
it's the same kind of ranking system.
okay,
So basically, it's like it's called like a 52-week roll system. So, say in the week of 1st January, you win a title,
okay,
and you get 100 points, for
Right.
example. The next year, that 100 points is like at stake. So
okay,
if you don't play in any tournaments,
right,
you minus 100 points,
okay,
kind of thing. So
Understand.
that 100 points, it only lasts for 1 year,
Right.
basically.
okay,
52 weeks lah, basically. And then if you actually win the title and successfully defended your title,
Okay.
you don't add another 100. You still stay 100.
okay,
You know what I mean?
Right,
So like
right,
basically 100, 100, 100, and then at the end of that week, however well you did the previous year, that point goes away, and then you just replace it with
I see.
a new tournament. Yeah.
I see. And I said this at you 260 in the ITF juniors out of roughly 10,000 players.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing, and it's all over the world, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so it's the under 18s like world ranking basically. And yeah, I like 260 is pretty decent, I guess.
Pretty decent.
For a Singaporean boy.
Of course.
Trying to
It's amazing. It's amazing.
trying to do his thing.
Right. Trying to do your thing.
Yeah.
Trying to do your thing rather, and you spoke about the sports school and your whatever you had there. You must have felt vindicated because you won the outstanding student athlete of the year at Singapore Sports School.
Yeah.
For all that you did at the Singapore Sports School, so-called playing professionally, you won that. You got the most outstanding student athlete. No, is that based on studies and a combination of studies and being an athlete, or it's just
So I think it's a whole bunch, like how well you do for your studies as well as your sports, and like I don't know, probably your character and stuff,
Right.
Yeah, so I think that was like really really cool. I was like super unexpected when I got the call that I won the award. Because like I know it's kind of prestigious in the sports school to win this award, because I was there for like the previous awards nights and stuff,
yeah.
and like whoever who wins the award is like legit, like they don't fool around kind of thing with
Right.
this
Yeah.
thing. So when I got the call, I was like, oh,
You were the top dog then.
at that time.
Right. I'm sure you go back, people will recognize you there. Do you have like your name in
Yeah,
on
there's a
roll
yeah,
honors list, right?
yeah.
Nice, wonderful.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Talk about your SEA Games experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the best one has to be the one in 2015, the one that was in Singapore. Because being my first SEA Games and being in Singapore with my family and my friends watching, it was like surreal experience.
Okay.
And I've said this many times, like across everywhere. The best experience was when I was like walking in the opening ceremony in the National Stadium, and that was when the National Stadium just opened.
The new one.
The new one,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
So it was like jam packed, like super full.
Yeah.
And then my family was in the stands, and then when they announced like Team Singapore to walk on,
Right.
during the opening ceremony, it was the best experience.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And like at that point, I knew that like all the hard work and stuff is like okay lah, it's for something lah.
Yeah. It must have been a it's a proud moment for your family as well.
Exactly,
looking and singing the national anthem as well.
Exactly, yeah, and being in Singapore,
Yeah,
being the first one, which was fantastic.
Yeah. We fast forward a little bit. How was, or I should rephrase this question. Why was 2017 special?
Why was 2000? There's multiple stuff, So, I think we won the Davis Cup again in that year.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so I participated in another SEA Games, which like thankfully I qualified for.
Right.
And then I also won a Southeast Asian singles title.
Okay.
That was in Singapore. So that was one of the better years as well.
Right.
Made a lot of experiences, and then I also got my first ATP point. Yeah, I almost forgot that. Yeah, so that was like really cool.
That is it's an achievement, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one
like
of the biggest achievements.
was that done in Singapore?
That was done in Singapore as well. Yeah. So basically, Singapore hosted 3. They call it ITF Futures tournaments, which holds ATP points.
Right.
Like ATP ranking tournaments, basically. Yeah. So I won the match. It was the first match, first round match, against this like Australian guy.
Did you know if you won that game or that match, you would? You already knew beforehand, right? Yeah.
So being in Singapore, like the Singaporean guys, we had like wild card straight to the main draw.
Right.
And then so the draw came out. I faced this Australian guy, which was actually quite good. Like he was like top 50 in the ITF juniors and stuff. Like I knew his younger brother,
Okay.
Like we are good friends,
Okay.
but the older brother is like a lot better than the younger brother.
Okay.
So I didn't meet the older brother because he
Right.
was playing like
Okay.
super high level tournaments and stuff.
Okay. Okay.
But then yeah, so in the end I played him and I actually played one of the better matches I've ever played, and then
Okay.
I won, and wow, it is a solid feeling lah, I must say.
Yeah, I can just imagine.
Because like it's the first time you get the same ranking system as like Federer and stuff,
Right.
So
Amazing.
it's super
it's
cool,
amazing. You won the national singles and doubles national titles, right? Which one do you prefer? As in
Yeah.
I know you love the individual playing individually and then getting that accolade, but do you prefer one over the other? You know, some people prefer the doubles.
Oh, I think singles is
Singles,
more
Right.
kind of prestigious, because
Okay.
there's a lot more entries for singles, and
Yeah.
usually if you win the singles, it means that you're the best player in
Yeah.
the tournament.
Yeah,
If you
right.
win the doubles tournament, the singles player should be better than you lah.
Yeah,
Technically,
right. Okay.
So I've always liked playing singles more.
Right.
Doubles is more a bit of fun. You get to chill around with your
Not
partner.
not bad for doing it for fun
Not
and
bad.
winning it as well, right?
Not bad
Because
lah.
you win it as well. But this might take my opinion on and not only in tennis, any sports when you have to partner with somebody, right? In badminton or what have you. If you lose, you can only blame yourself.
Yeah.
If you are it's an individual sport, right? You can only blame yourself. You
Yeah.
who
You can't turn to
yeah,
anybody.
You can't turn to anybody, and at least there's an accountability there.
Yeah.
But if you're playing in doubles,
You
can
blame your partner.
yeah, either that, or you can just lose the game because of your partner,
Yeah.
or you can lose the game because of yourself, right?
Yeah.
So that's my take, right? So that I would probably like to do the individual one, right? So that's me. I want to get into the head of a champion, right? Obviously you're a champion. You're Singapore ranked number 1. You have trained since the age of 15. No, obviously you've trained from 4.5,
Yeah.
right? But I'm saying like really proper, right? Age of 15, and I read this, of course, and you have done 25 hours per week since then. 25 hours per week. People talk about sports people, the champions, even in team sports, they talk about the glamour, they talk about the fast cars and what have you, right? But they don't see the blood, the sweat, the tears that people put into it, the champions put into it, and that's the only reason how you got there in the first place, through the hard work. Tell me about the sacrifices as a professional, right? As a professional tennis player.
Yep. So like when you said when I started really training proper at the age of 15 was when I joined the Singapore Sports School and stuff, that program. So that was like a huge jump for me, because at that time I was probably, before that I was training maybe like 2-3 hours a day, maybe Monday to Friday, Saturday kind of thing. But then when I got into the program, it was like legit, like, so we had like off-court sessions, we had gym sessions, track sessions, on-court and everything. So I was easily putting about 6 hours a day, from Monday to Saturday, on-court and off-court. And at times when I had school and stuff, like I would leave home at around 7 a.m. to reach training at 7:30.
Yeah.
And when I said like we had night school and stuff, I would come back at around 11 p.m. for dinner.
Right.
So I was out for like, I don't know how many hours is that. 7 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Yeah.
So it's like more than 12 hours. And I barely see my family basically during that period of time, because when I leave home, everybody's still asleep, and when I reach home, everybody went to sleep
Still
already.
dark, right?
So so those are the kind of sacrifices that you just have to put into.
Social life?
Social life is social life with your tennis teammates lah, actually.
There isn't much of a social life there.
Yeah,
right?
there's nothing much. So maybe Sundays, weekends, we just chill a bit. But then also like you're so tired,
Right.
so you just want to just chill at home. But yeah, but sacrifices are definitely like part and parcel of being like a sports athlete.
Right.
But then again, like if I think of it as a way that like sacrifices are technically not sacrifices, because it's something you want to do, and you have to do it to pursue your dreams and to reach to where you want to be. So you don't really call it a sacrifice because you want to do it in the end. So yeah, that's how I think of it.
I really liked what you just said, the last bit about it's not really a sacrifice when, firstly, you want to do it,
Yeah.
and secondly, you enjoy doing it, and we. I've heard of things like this as well, right? On social media and stuff like that. When certain sports people get criticized, for example, and then they come back and they retort and they say that you don't know the sacrifices that I've put in. If you're a professional sports person, I feel that it's a given. You have to sacrifice.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it, right? So it's a good thing that you said that, because it's a given. If you're a professional player, a footballer, a tennis player, or whatever, you got to put in the work. You got to sacrifice, and even for some of us, it's not sacrifice. Sacrifice is when you have to go out at when you're 60 years old doing a cleaning job.
Yeah.
Those kind of thing.
Yeah.
That is a sacrifice. But I think we are all blessed, as sports people, and doing this. I think it's a good thing that what you just said. Well done. Injuries. Any injuries that you are you prone to, or you are currently?
Yeah, so as I said, during the batch one of the trials that the
Yeah.
association
Right.
came up with, I was training really hard for that, because at that time the first batch would go to Spain actually for training for 1 month.
Yeah.
So they were going to take 4 boys and 4 girls. So I was part of that trial, but then I got really badly injured, like maybe a week before the trials.
Okay.
On my back. So after that, so I played the trials with like a back brace and stuff at the age of 12. Like, wow, that was
Okay.
rough, lah. But then so after that, I was out for actually like 3 months.
Okay.
So at home, I was just moving in a computer chair, just rolling around, because I couldn't walk. I couldn't even bend down at all.
Wow. Okay.
And
What was it?
it was actually like it's like a defect in my spine actually.
Okay.
So technically, like, it's still there. Like, it's not
okay.
like fully, like,
Right.
it can't be healed or something like that.
Okay.
So it's just that the muscles around it are supporting that thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So so that was the only major injury,
Right.
thankfully.
Okay.
The other one was mid-June last year, after the Davis Cup in Singapore. I had a pretty bad wrist injury, which took me out for about 2 months leading up to the SEA Games. Other than that, if you want to call a circuit breaker an injury, that was a 3 months injury.
Right. It's a good thing, isn't it? You get a chance to get a chance to recover as well during the circuit breaker, but then get injured as well. Now, I don't exactly play tennis. I played it before. I don't exactly play it, but I like to watch it, right? And I watch the women's and the men's game. I just feel that watching it, it's a game of momentum, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a game of momentum. Suddenly you see somebody who's down, and then they just win a what do you call it,
A point.
yeah, a point,
Yeah.
and then suddenly you win the next few points, and it's a game of momentum. Mentally, you got to be really, really tough.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think about that? Because mentally, do you have to be right up there for every match?
Yeah, because so there's a saying like tennis is like 80% mental, because everybody around the world, when you go for a tournament, everybody can hit a forehand, everybody can hit a backhand,
Yes.
everybody can
Yeah.
do a serve. So what makes you win the match or lose the match is your mental,
Nice.
and that one is like is different for everybody, right? So
Yeah.
it's about how much you want it,
Yeah.
how much more you want it than your opponent.
Yeah.
That it really just comes down to that basically,
Okay.
because I mean the level is pretty much everybody's around the same.
Right. How about strategies during a match, right?
Yeah.
Because you do see or listen to commentators saying that, okay, this guy is losing a match and he's got to try something different. How different can you go when you are losing? You're getting whacked by Nadal across the court, right? And then you try to change your
Change it,
strategy.
yeah.
How do you change your strategy in
Yeah, I mean that part's a bit tough, but that's like the beauty of tennis as well, that I really love, because it's
Right.
like all on you, and it's really like you have to find out solutions on court.
Right.
You can't turn to your
Right.
coach, because you're gonna
Right.
get a coaching penalty if your
Yeah.
coach tells you something to do. So yeah, that's the cool part about tennis. Like
Yeah.
you have the problems, you solve it yourself, and
Okay.
if you win, you feel really good about it. But I think like during the not the highest level, so like not your Federer and Nadal's, like the levels that we play, it's a bit hard to kind of like scout your opponent, because you don't really have a lot of videos going around of
Yeah.
your players.
Of course.
So you just kind of like once you're on court with them, you just try to like figure it out yourself.
After the first few
Yeah,
points,
exactly.
right?
The first few points, you know, maybe the first 10 minutes of the game, you
True.
kind of see whether it's forehand or backhand is weaker,
Okay.
and basically it just comes with kind of experience to try to deal with the situation yourself.
Right. Do you get the feeling of waking up one morning and just say, I think I'm 23 or 22 or whatever your age is right now, and say, I think I've had enough. I just want to go and do something else.
Not yet lah, actually.
Right.
I still want to play. I still want to
Okay.
try to pursue as far as I can go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Who is your favorite player?
Roger Federer, no doubt at all.
You got a fist
Fist
bump
bump,
here.
fist bump.
Can't shake hands. Yeah, he's my favorite player as well.
Good choice.
Why?
I mean, look at the guy, man. The guy is perfect, lah. Like,
There's
so
there's
elegant.
yeah. I
there's,
think that's the word,
class.
isn't it? There's something different about him.
Absolutely, yeah.
He just exudes that
Exactly.
class, and
I mean, it's just just look at him, like you know why, like nobody hates him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How about a woman?
Women. So, I would actually say Karolina Pliskova.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Because like I was practicing with her quite a lot during the WTA finals.
Okay.
And yeah, so
Is that the only reason why?
it's a huge reason why.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, like I got to know her and her team pretty well during that experience, and
Okay.
it was like super cool because she's like super humble and she's
Okay.
super down to earth, and she's like really chill person, you know, like
Right.
she's not like those kind of like you think like they were like stuck up kind, you know,
Okay.
like yeah, but then she was like really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, she follows me back on Instagram, so that's pretty cool. That's a huge reason
Okay.
why she's
Okay.
my
Now I know why.
favorite player.
Now I know why. Now, who is your favorite player is Roger Federer, right? Do you like take anything like try to not emulate but try to get a little bit bits and pieces of his game, try to put it into your game? Is there any chance of doing that? Do you try?
It's a bit tough, like, cause the guy
No,
is
it
something
can be
else.
anybody,
Yeah.
right? It can
But
be
then
anyone.
I try to like my game probably, I try to like copy kind of Djokovic style,
Right.
which is kind of my style as well.
Okay.
Like just like baseline and
Right.
kind of just grind it out.
But do you whine like him?
I don't know. Exactly. So yeah, like his playstyle is like I would say my playstyle is pretty similar to his. The way I play, you know, like
Okay.
yeah.
Nice.
It's a bit dangerous to copy Federer because you probably couldn't. So
You'll probably fall
yeah,
flat on your
exactly.
face,
Yeah,
right?
so not the wisest choice.
Nice. Tell us about Project Love All.
Yeah. So actually, that's a initiative together with the Active SG Tennis Academy.
Okay.
So during this whole circuit breaker and this whole COVID-19 situation, we definitely saw that the migrant workers were the most affected. You know, like they were, like the cases were just skyrocketing, right?
Yeah.
And like everybody were like put in the isolation dorms and stuff, and like you heard stories about them not receiving like nice meals and stuff like that. So they're like really close to my heart because like you know they're the one who built up Singapore, and they're like super important to us. They're the one who put a shelter above our heads when we sleep at night and stuff. So like I felt it was like something had to be done.
Right.
So it was just a very small initiative by both of us. So we actually initiated to raise money to donate meals for them during the weekend of Hari Raya.
Okay.
So they can try and like at least enjoy kind of a nice sumptuous meal on Hari Raya. So we actually raised money, and we raised about around $7,460. Yeah. So that fed more than 880 workers across like 5-6 dormitories.
Yes.
So it was my first like kind of legit like fundraiser like stuff.
Nice.
So it was a really good experience trying to organize this and stuff. Because usually it's like you're part of it, you know, you volunteer, somebody asks you to help and do something, but this is the first time like I'm actually doing it.
Yes.
So yeah, it was a really good experience. I learned a lot of stuff as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, like when we were delivering the food, they were all really happy. So
It's
it's a nice sight.
it's a nice sight, and it's a nice fulfilling feeling in your heart
Yeah.
as well, right? It's just nice. And we've been we talked about in the past few weeks about Black Lives Matter. I think migrant workers' lives matter as well,
Exactly.
right?
Everybody's lives matter.
Exactly. And kudos to you and the people who've done this.
Yeah.
How about Wheels Up?
Yeah.
What was that about?
So that was a little like cycling fun-a-thon sort of
Okay.
thing. So it was together with the Malay Sports Association, Active SG, and myself.
Okay.
So we try to like raise money to support the tennis community, in this sense. So there was this former cyclist Nash, who actually cycled for about 7 hours to raise
Right.
money. I think on like 14th of June or something.
Okay.
So cycled for 7 hours, and then we raised about at least about $4,000.
Okay.
So we supported about 12 to 13 coaches and their families
Right.
using the money. So those are the coaches that are really badly hit. Those
Okay.
elderly coaches who
Nice.
their sole income was based on like part-time coaching and stuff.
Yeah.
So they were pretty badly hit. So we thought we could try and give a
Yeah.
helping hand.
I think it's nice to see athletes like yourself, the national athletes, and I think UK Sham has been doing this
Yeah.
as well with the laptops and stuff. It's a good thing, isn't it? Just
Definitely.
giving back to the community. And you are you a Man U fan, by the way?
Oh, absolutely, man.
So
Wait,
you
you're not.
it's okay.
Wait, what do you?
It's okay.
I'm
I'm an
gonna
Arsenal
walk out of
fan.
this room
I'm
really
an
soon.
Arsenal fan.
Oh no! Tough to be an Arsenal fan these days, huh?
Very much so.
Oof. Feel for you, bro.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on. Now, what is in store for you for the future? Or before that, anything else in terms of charity work in the next few months or so? Anything coming up or?
Not really. I
putting it on
think.
hold, right?
Yeah, just it was really busy to
Yeah.
kind of like organize all the stuff. So I think. Yeah.
Future wise?
Future definitely. I would definitely be more involved in like charity work or helping
Okay.
I think like we didn't touch on so we touched on migrant workers, the tennis coaches, elderly tennis coaches. So I really want to help like youth,
Okay.
at-risk children and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Nice.
it's huge potential there.
Professionally, where do you go from here? What is your plan? Say, how long do you foresee yourself going? And
Yeah.
then what is your plan? What is your objective? Your goal?
So actually my plan this year is I'm gonna enlist for national service
Okay.
sometime this year, which I have no idea.
That's a plan. not exactly. a
Not
plan.
exactly lah.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think that's the first
Yeah.
obstacle I have to get over first.
It's not a plan. That's an obstacle.
So it depends
Yeah.
on where I get posted to and stuff,
Okay.
and if I'm like allowed to continue playing tennis
Okay.
and things. So I definitely still want to play even after I come out from
Yeah.
national service. But like like the worst part is that I'll be maybe 24, 25, and
Yep.
like 22, 23 is like kind of your peak,
Yeah.
basically, to try and like break through into the real circuit, So I don't know, it's going to be really tough, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Right. Any advice for budding tennis players who is probably trying to break the record? So any advice for anyone who's 4 years old coming up?
Just blow out a balloon and then start playing with your dad.
Good
No,
advice there. Yeah.
but it's really just you have to really enjoy the sport. You like I said, it has to come from within.
Yeah.
Nobody can force you to do anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you really enjoy the sport, it's a fantastic sport. It teaches you so many like life skills. Like as I said, you're like all alone on court, and you learn to deal with like difficult situations. And I think if it has helped me like as a person also off court, just to deal with situations that
Yeah.
come to me, and just try and like persevere. And actually being an athlete is a fantastic thing. Like it teaches you so many things that you can't learn in a classroom.
Correct.
And like representing Singapore, representing your country at the international stage, it's a fantastic opportunity because you're doing something you love and you're doing it for your country, I don't think
Yeah.
anything can beat that really.
You hit the nail on the head there in terms of sport teaches you everything.
Yeah.
Like life skills. Life skills is one. Obviously that's not an excuse for not wanting to look at your books, but but seriously, it teaches you everything.
Absolutely.
Being the underdog sometimes,
Yeah.
you need to just get stuck in.
Yeah.
Get to the end line. During training you learn a lot, right?
Yeah.
Because certain things that you think that you can't do, you actually can
Exactly.
do. You can
Yeah.
go the distance,
Yeah.
things like that.
Small things.
Small little things.
Because it adds up, like it's
Exactly.
small things, and then like after like 10, 12 years in the
Yes.
sport, you're like, oh wow,
Yeah.
okay.
You get hardened.
Yeah.
You get really solid at the end. So that's a very good point. Thanks. You know, I usually leave, or we usually leave, or after doing this, right? This is called the Silverfox Hustle Challenge,
Right.
And I think you've heard this if you've heard the earlier podcast. 10 things.
Yeah.
One word. It has to be a positive word. That's it, right? And you cannot repeat those words 10 times, obviously.
Okay. So
Right.
different word.
Different words, but it has to be only one word,
Okay.
right?
So
So if I say, for example, if I say the Silverfox Hustle podcast, you say good, something like that.
Okay.
Right.
So it's like an adjective. It's not like okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the next one, you cannot say good anymore.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Wow.
It should be a breeze.
I don't think so.
Okay, number one, Mr. Alam, your dad.
Inspirational.
Number 2, Singapore Sports School.
Grateful.
Number 3, playing in the Davis Cup.
Amazing.
Number 4, playing in the SEA Games.
Fantastic.
Number 5, the ITF Junior Boys Singles title in Singapore. The first ever Singaporean to do so, by the way. Number 5.
Unbelievable.
Number 6, winning your first ATP ranking points.
Crazy.
Number 7, Project Love All.
Thankful.
Number 8, your charity work as a whole.
Motivational.
Number 9, representing Singapore.
Okay, I'm taking long because I can't say the same word.
Yeah.
Oof. Oh no. I think brain freeze. Representing Singapore.
Okay, we'll move on to number 10. We'll move on to number 10, the easiest one, right? Number 10, Shaheed Alam.
Cool. Okay, representing Singapore. Oh.
Come on, don't let Singapore down.
Oh no.
Come on, Shaheed. Okay, I'll just anytime, anytime today, Shaheed.
Oh man.
Okay.
Majula, man.
I'll just take that. All right, I'll take that. Thanks. Thank you very much. Shaheed, thank you for being on the Silverfox Hustle podcast. I think you have been very good in terms of the work that you've done, your charity work. I think I love that a lot. Your career so far, the inspirational your inspirational dad and the family as well. I think it has been very good, and of course, good luck for the future.
Thank
And
you.
I think especially after NS, I think I hope for the best for you guys, or for you, and then hopefully achieve your goals, whatever that is in terms of your professional goals. Yeah. Thanks for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me here, man.
No problems anytime.
Had a real blast.
Yeah. Cheers.
Take care, guys.